What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of My Team Career Mode. Today we are here at the Dutch Grand Prix at the circuit Zandavoort, and as you can see here, it will be a dry race with a little bit of cloudy weather. So we are not going to bother about the intermediate or wet conditions, and we will be doing this practice session. So in this practice session we will be just trying to gain as many R&D points as possible, as in this qualifying session we had some fault, so it took some time, about 4 minutes, to repair that, and after that we went for our first push lap. So in our first push lap we just made some mistakes which cost us a lot of time, and we were able to finish in only P22. So we went again for another push lap as the qualifying session was coming to an end, and this time we gained a lot of time because we did not make those earlier mistakes, and also I did not face any issues with my controller. So this time I was able to just hit the apexes and put down the throttle as much as possible so that I can gain as much time as possible, and we crossed the line for P20. So yeah, we gained some time, but obviously our car is still a back marker, so we'll be starting at the back of the grid, and we are also utilizing our R&D points to develop an upgrade as it is very much needed in our car. So yeah, this is the final setup which I'm going through, as we'll just increase the tire pressure to have some optimum tire temperature. At Charles Leclerc, Verstappen and George Russell, Sergio Perez are just going to start in the front two of the grid, and we'll be in the P19 as some of them have taken some grid penalties. So yeah, GG's to me, as 5 red lights, and away we go for the start of this Dutch Grand Prix. And it is a, what can I say, decent start, as obviously other competitors are overtaking us because we get the tiny amount of wheel spin which is just uh, creates an issue with launching our car. Yeah, so now coming back to this race, as you can see here, we are just boxed between our teammate and outside of this curb. So we'll be taking a wide line, and it is going 3 wide around this corner, which is very crazy because obviously this track is not wide enough to allow 3 cars to go through. So we need to be careful so that we do not lose our front wing, as we just overtake Vettel, and in front of us we need to follow Stroll, so that obviously we'll be trying to go for a dive, as we just managed to do that and we did not lose any front wing. So yeah, it needs to be careful, because otherwise if we get a damage here it will be a loss of time in the pit stop, and I don't think any safety cars or such things can bail us out. But you never know, this is F1 and these races can have some unpredictability to them, so we cannot just predict anything, and we need to be prepared for anything which comes in the strategy. So yeah, we just almost crashed into the back of Albon, as I just missed my braking point, but fortunately it was nothing serious, as we keep our front wing intact and we are going side by side here at this track, which is just quite narrow. So yeah, it will be quite a challenge with these wider cars. And now Sainz is at P12, so maybe he has a bad race, or maybe he was having a grid penalty, so he's at the back of the grid. And now at the lap 8 you can see now Bottas in front of us. So obviously Alfa Romeo is a powerful car because they're having the Ferrari engine, and you can see we are just pushing him around, as finally in the next lap the competitors who were in the soft tires are pitting, so, and they are going for the hard tires, and our teammate also was using a soft to hard strategy. So obviously he just pitted in that lap so that he can go to the hard tires for the rest of this race, as me and Schumacher are just fighting for P10 position, because obviously now the Haas and we are just trying to gain as many positions as we can, as we just had a tank slapper moment and our rear wheels got locked up. So that gave Schumacher a decent opportunity for overtaking us around the outside. So yeah, and we get an yellow flag. So yeah, I think this is Albon. Yes, so Albon just hit the curve and did a spinella with a 360 degree. So yeah, what can I say? And we almost did the same thing in the next lap, as you can see from the POV of Norris. So we are just trying to control our car, because obviously our car is lacking the much needed downforce and aero department upgrades. So we will be improving that in the upcoming season. So do subscribe the channel to check those things out. And we pitted in the lap 18 to get a set of hard tires, and now Albon overtakes us. So I think we are just facing some issues with warming up of our tires, because right now only we just pitted and this is our out lap. So we need to be careful as we do not want to just block the traffic and get some front wing damage, as both the Aston Martins just overtake us because they are on the at least a lap or two older tires, so they are having the optimum tire temperature, and we are just in the cold tires, so we will be sliding all over the place. So yeah, that is one thing we need to consider, as here at the beginning of lap 19 we go down the inside of an Aston Martin. I think that was Lance Stroll, so we overtake Stroll here at the turn 1, and now we will be gunning our eyes on Sebastian Vettel, as the Aston Martins are quite closer to us in the R&D upgrades, so we will be able to overtake them if we can just utilize our resources properly. As you can see, Stroll is just fighting hard to overtake us, so it will be a what can I say, a very strategic gameplay from us here, as we just overtake Stroll, but as you know, Stroll was just hungry to gain back the position, and it caused a yellow flag. So let's see, he just went on the curb and just did another spinella. So yeah, I think he was just desperate for a overtake, and which resulted in him losing the rear wheel of his car. So that's quite unfortunate of him. And here in the lap 23 we overtake Sebastian Vettel. So obviously he's an experienced driver, so he left enough of space for us to go down the inside, and now he's just trying to overtake us around the outside. So GG's to him because of his game plan, and what can I say, at least he's just trying to pressurize us to go forward. And obviously we are not having the ERS, and the DRS around this game is not as powerful, so it will be a challenge to overtake as we get a safety car. So let's see what happened. I think Hamilton, oh, I think it is George Russell who just crashed inside this hairpin, and which caused a pileup with Alonso, which resulted in a safety car. So I think Mercedes just gifted us something. So we'll be going for the soft tires because ultimately we are anyhow not going to gain any points of this race. So why not just go for the fastest tire which is available, which is the soft tire. So let us see how many positions we can gain, as right now we are in the P21 position at the back of the grid, and in front of us there is Lance Stroll, who is just braking at this point. I mean, why? It is green flag, man, just go forward. And I checked for some damage, but fortunately we did not get any damage. So yeah, we overtake couple of cars, and we also overtake Drogovic, our teammate, and he tries to cut back, but fortunately we just happen to close the gap, as now we overtake Guan Yu Zhou and also Vettel. So it is our superiority in the faster tires in the soft compound, so which is enabling us to get some grip as we go around the outside of Russell, who just had a spin earlier. So he's now in the back of the grid, and it will be crucial to just overtake him so that we can keep the Mercedes away, not for any points but just for the pride of having the ability to score higher than the Mercedes. As you know, we are just back markers, so anything we can overtake, it will be a good thing for us, as you can see the highlight there, as now we have Schumacher in front of us, who is just struggling, I think because he has some old hard tires. So now we are just pushing him around the hairpin, so you can see how much of pace difference is there, as we get another yellow flag. So let's see what happened this time. I think yeah, this is Lance Stroll. So yeah, Stroll had a disappointing weekend. Earlier he just spun, and now his engine failure. So what can I say? Aston Martin and the Mercedes engine are facing some issues. So I think reliability issues is a theme in this season one, because obviously all the competitors are trying to gain as much of engine power as possible, which resulted in some sort of engine failures, as now we are just fighting with George Russell to hold on to this P15 position. But obviously it will be a difficult task because Russell is a fantabulous driver, and obviously he has a Mercedes car, so which is quite powerful, and we are just trying to hold the inside position at this apex of this corner so that we do not give the Mercedes guy any chance to overtake. So we are just holding by the last straw, I can say, because right now we are just trying to gain as much time as we can, and we cannot get Schumacher because obviously this is the last lap of this race, and Charles Leclerc wins the Dutch Grand Prix. So GG's to him. Schumacher is just 1.4 seconds ahead of us, and you can see it can be a photo finish here with George Russell just 2 tenths behind us. So can we finish it? He's just closing. We got the DRS ready. We just managed to hold on to this P15 position. So yeah, it was a fantabulous race, as Lando Norris gets the driver of the day, as Charles Leclerc, Verstappen and Perez, they just get the podium places, as Hamilton gets P4, and Carlos Sainz goes from P11 to P7. So remarkable recovery drive from him, as Lando Norris goes from P15 to P10, as Daniel Ricciardo almost was able to close the points, but he could not just try for the smooth things, as we get P15 very close finish with George Russell. So it was a very interesting race at this end of this Grand Prix. So yeah, GG's to Russell also for giving some friendly competition, as Drogovic goes P19. So it was a disappointing race for our teammate, but hopefully he'll be turning around in the upcoming races as Charles Leclerc gets the lead of this championship and Ferrari is also leading the constructors. So it is quite a dicey game, as anybody can win the championship and the constructors. So we'll have to wait and watch in the upcoming races as who will be gaining the championship leads, as we are also developing some turbo upgrades. And thank you guys for watching this video, and subscribe this channel to get such more regular F122 videos, and we will meet you at the next video, which will be at the Italian Grand Prix. So peace.